What does it mean to be good? Not just polite, but truly moral. Simon Blackburn argues that ethics isn't just for academics, but for all of us. Every time you decide, choose, or judge, you're living inside ethics. The real question is, do you ever stop to think about it? Blackburn begins his book with a simple yet powerful idea. We all have a moral compass, even if we don't realize it. When we get angry at injustice, stand up for the weak, or feel guilt or pride, we're acting through our own ethical lens. You don't need to be a philosopher to have opinions about right and wrong. We do it every day, whether it's telling a small lie at work or deciding to speak the truth to a friend. Ethics, says Blackburn, is not an academic game. It's the internal map that guides your life. And that's exactly why it's worth thinking about. Not to become perfect, but to become more aware. To understand what you believe, why you believe it, and how to stand by it when the moment comes. Because when you reflect on your moral beliefs, you live with more clarity, dignity, and meaning. One of the oldest questions in ethics is this: can morality exist without God? Many believe that our sense of right and wrong comes from religion, that commandments, divine laws, or sacred texts are the source of ethical behavior. But Blackburn challenges us to dig deeper. He brings up a famous dilemma from Plato. Is something good because God commands it? Or does God command it because it's good? If it's only good because God says so, then morality feels arbitrary. It could have been anything. But if God commands it because it's good, then there must be a standard of goodness beyond God. This doesn't mean religion has no place in ethics. Faith can inspire compassion, community, and a strong moral sense. But Blackburn argues that being good must stand on its own, because not everyone shares the same beliefs, and even religious texts can conflict. He invites us to consider moral values that apply across cultures and faiths. Honesty, kindness, justice, these aren't exclusive to any one religion. In the end, ethics isn't about obeying rules from above. It's about choosing wisely how to live with reason and reflection. And that kind of morality is something every human being can engage with, believer or not. Let's face it, the world is full of moral disagreement. What one culture sees as virtuous, another might see as wrong. Some societies value honor above all. Others prioritize freedom or compassion. This raises a tough question. Is morality just relative? Is what's right simply whatever your society says it is? Simon Blackburn explores this idea, known as moral relativism, with both openness and caution. At first, relativism sounds humble. It says, don't judge other cultures by your own standards. That's fair. We all live within different traditions and histories. But if we take relativism too far, we end up in a dangerous place. If everything is relative, then we can't say that slavery was wrong. We can't criticize racism, cruelty, or oppression, because after all, maybe that's just their way. But Blackburn warns, that kind of moral silence is not tolerance, it's surrender. He suggests we need a middle path. Yes, we should understand the values of others. Yes, we should question our own assumptions. But we also need the courage to stand up for universal human values. There are some things, like unnecessary violence, injustice, or deceit, that strike us as wrong no matter where we are. These aren't just cultural quirks. They reflect deeper truths about human well-being. Blackburn also reminds us, even within a single culture, people disagree. So morality can't just be what society says, because societies argue with themselves all the time. In the end, moral thinking isn't about blind obedience to tradition or blind rejection of it. It's about asking questions, listening to others, and reasoning carefully. Not because we have all the answers, but because we care about getting it right. And that pursuit of moral clarity, that constant effort to live with integrity, is what makes ethics both personal and powerful. We praise people for doing the right thing. We blame others for doing harm. But here's the question: do we actually have free will? Are our choices truly ours, or are they shaped by forces beyond our control? Simon Blackburn dives into this deep and tricky issue. He asks, can we hold someone morally responsible if they aren't really free? Think about it. A person's background, childhood, culture, or even biology can all influence their behavior. So where does responsibility begin? If someone was raised in violence or ignorance, are they fully accountable for their actions? Blackburn doesn't pretend this is easy, but he suggests a key idea. Freedom isn't about being totally unshaped. It's about being able to reflect. When we can pause, think, question, and choose, we're exercising our moral agency. Even if we're shaped by our environment, we still have the power to evaluate, to change, and to take ownership of our lives. Responsibility, then, isn't about being a perfect, free agent. It's about being a participant in the moral world, someone who listens to reason, feels empathy, and tries to do better. Blackburn also warns us against easy excuses. Sometimes, people use the idea of no free will to avoid accountability. But if no one is responsible, justice collapses, trust erodes, and society falls apart. So instead of obsessing over total freedom, Blackburn invites us to focus on moral capacity, our ability to grow, to reflect, and to choose better paths, even when it's hard. In the end, ethics isn't about judging others from a high horse. It's about recognizing the struggles of being human, while still believing that we can rise above our circumstances. And that belief, that we can choose to be better, is the foundation of all moral progress. We often think of morality as a set of rules. Don't lie, don't steal, be kind. But Simon Blackburn invites us to see it differently, not just as a checklist of actions, but as a way of being. This is the idea of virtue ethics, a tradition going back to Aristotle. Instead of asking, what should I do in this situation? It asks, what kind of person should I be? Virtues are traits like courage, honesty, compassion, humility, and patience. They're not just behaviors, they're habits of the heart. They shape how we see the world, how we react, and how we treat others. Blackburn reminds us we don't become virtuous overnight. Character is built slowly, through experience, reflection, and practice. It's like training a muscle. Each time you choose honesty over convenience or kindness over anger, you become stronger. But he also warns against fake virtue. There's a difference between truly being good and simply looking good. Virtue isn't about reputation. It's about integrity. It's what you do when no one's watching. This view of morality is more personal than rules or laws. It recognizes that life is messy, and sometimes there's no perfect answer. In those moments, your character becomes your compass. And perhaps most importantly, virtues don't only benefit others. They give you peace, confidence, and meaning. Living with virtue isn't about being a saint. It's about being fully human. Blackburn encourages us to ask, what kind of life do I want to live? And what kind of person do I need to become to live it? Because in the end, being good isn't just about what you do. It's about who you are becoming. So, what does it really mean to be good? In this video, we explored how ethics shapes our everyday choices, whether morality depends on religion, how culture influences what we call right, whether we're truly free to choose, and how virtues build our character over time. But now, it's your turn to think, do you believe morality is universal or personal? Can someone be good without religion? What virtues do you want to build in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if this video got you thinking, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you won't miss the next deep dive. This channel is all about ideas that challenge, inspire, and help us grow. So stick around, we're just getting started.